Everybody, it's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. Today, Tuesday, June 21st. I had to look. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I'm up so much. We're going live pre-market, and I have Edward with me this morning. Good morning, Edward.
Yo, what's up, man?
Oh,
How's it
man,
going?
just waking up. I slept a little later than usual because I was up a little late. Finishing a TV series. Got to be honest.
I haven't slept. Well, I sort of slept during the day, though.
You got to sleep through that heat.
Yeah, it's pretty hot nowadays, yeah.
Where are you? You're in California, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. And it's really hot over there. We're hitting 100 every day here now.
Oh, we're not quite there, but it's torching. It's supposed to be 100 something like later this week, yeah.
That coffee is good. I see we got 7 people already. I had to do my YouTube stuff real quick. Let me refresh and get over here and do that. So what's been going on? What you got new? Anything new?
Oh, yeah. So I've been the DD that I've been doing, investigating the Wall Street fraud on January 2021. I posted it in Super Stonk and posted it in AMC stock on Reddit. AMC stock on Reddit has now over 101k views. And now, yes.
Wow.
This is the DD, yeah. So we're doing a really good job exposing what was going on January 21. And then Super Stonk, so I'm trying to basically reach out to both the major communities and have them share all around to the people so that everybody can see what's going on, and then obviously spread the word.
Run it down to it. What you got?
Well, I can link it to you.
That's cool.
If you want to share that. So here's
yeah, we can share it and you can talk about
it. Do you want me to share it? I sent it to you on Twitter.
Okay, I'll go in just a second. AMC up
Sure thing.
32 cents plus 2.55%. That's awesome.
It's pretty good, right, but I think it's all fake. It's all fake, man.
It's fake. Of course it's fake. It's not an algorithm.
Yeah.
All right,
it's not going to be real until AMC breaks 40. It's not real.
Nah. That's
so that's the Super Stonk one I sent you, and now here's the
power to the shareholders. Off times 1,000 and SEC is complacent. Yeah, tell us about it. Long repost, lots of evidence of market fraud, racketeering on January of 2021. You said January. Okay, you said January 21. You meant January 2021.
Yes, 21, like short for the year.
Okay, because I was saying 20. Oh, okay.
No.
What is it about?
You keep scrolling. There's 20 pages in there. And they have it's
wow.
It's all titled in there. Yeah, I went over every single doc. Well, I'm still finishing up. There's a part 2. There's probably going to be a part 3 and a part 4. This is just part 1.
DRS. A lot of people ask me about DRS. Are you pro DRS?
I'm neither.
You're neither. Should we DRS? Because I've never DRS'd. I've always felt I feel it's more protected over here in my house. I'm kind of scared. I don't know a lot about the DRS.
Right. I mean, it's people's choice. I don't touch it.
Yeah.
I have my shares in Fidelity. I don't touch it.
Fidelity. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, everyone
have you heard? It doesn't matter. Obviously keep up with Fidelity news, I'm sure.
I have lending. I have everything turned off.
You do? Do you check it frequently, or do you just have you done it and that's enough?
No. Check it, of course.
Check it. That's what I encourage everybody to do is you need
I
to check it at
screenshot and
least
check
twice
it.
a week.
Yeah, it's
Check it
it's it's
twice a week at
it's
least.
they can't do anything. They really can't do anything with it. You have just make sure you screenshot and have your document saved.
Mm.
They can't do anything with your stuff. If they do, they get sued.
Uh, Adam Aaron made a comment during his stock market stockholders meeting that really only 50% of the people voted, and people want to know why. Um, and Tony DiNardo put out a video that said that if you got a email and say you had 1,000 shares, but they only gave you 500 shares credit to vote on, he said that was because 90% of the time they've loaned out your shares, and that's why you don't have full 100% voting power with your shares. And
Loaning out shares should not affect any of that. That's not how it works.
oh, it should, oh, it shouldn't.
Yeah, and
So
it shouldn't.
if E Trade loaned out my shares, I got a letter for all of my shares, so I wasn't concerned. Uh, but if they would have only credited me half of my E Trade shares, the loaning of it wasn't the cause.
It should be whatever is on your brokerage account.
Mm.
It's
People's got questions.
it doesn't matter if you're loaning it out. If they're loaning it out or you're loaning it out, it's what's held into your account. What is under your name? That's what's supposed to be given to you as the voting power. If they're manipulating that, then that's a problem.
Real quick, let's give a shout out to Keith for being here. OGDA Skywalker. Rez, I see you. OG wants to know about Doge. Do you have any information maybe on Doge?
Yeah, I believe crypto runs after.
Crypto runs after
Yeah, because crypto
after
is used as a
AMC.
yeah, it's crypto is used as a margin leverage in my opinion. And so what you're seeing when crypto has been tanking, once this thing finishes, whatever is going to be the case, a market crashes, probably crypto is going to go down even harder. I think what's going on is just a fake pump in the market. I think like Bitcoin, everything's just pumping for no reason. I don't know what they're doing with their stuff. Maybe they're trying to do another one last bait. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin at 17.5 thousand. That's insanity. Yeah, you look at the daily, it does not look good. So
And man, if they really
crypto's gonna be
wanted to make some
fine.
money,
It's not that they want to make money. It's they're using as leverage, just like the repos. They have their
mm,
hands all over the place. People don't realize
oh
it.
God,
Like I've been talking
I
why
could bust.
Bitcoin, like why crypto is trading the same thing as the SPY. It's the same algorithm playing out everywhere. It shows that they're all manipulating every single market. So when their collateral is gone, when you see margin calls or whatever, that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, I'm waiting for the next announcement, the next news that pops off. Somebody goes underwater, and it starts a domino effect. Man, it's gonna happen one way or another. That's how this thing ends.
Everybody, I've been to the top of the channel. Hit Edward's that he's posted on Reddit. You can check it out, read it. He said it's quite long, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's there's a
Banner.
lot. Did you see
Uh,
this? So the other one I sent you to, the other one's, sorry, what was that? Yeah,
nothing.
the
I was
other
just
one's the AMC
talking.
stock. It's now 101K views. So it's good to see that people are seeing it, people are sharing it, people are still doing DD and love doing DD and spreading the truth. That's what I'm. See, when I came in this, like I wanted to expose the corruption that's going on. That's been my entire. That's been my entire goal, actually. Like not just be in the market, not just be an ape, but to expose the corruption because I knew it was something bad. I knew there was something wrong with the market.
Mm. I say it a million times. I had no idea when I first and my recovery plays, which was Moderna and Johnson and Johnson and the rest of them. And eventually, I worked my way through a play called AMC.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and then I found out a Squeeze, and I've been in this some bitch ever since. Had no idea of the market corruption really going on.
Yeah, me neither, man. I had no idea.
Will the I do
It's
now
it's
though. I
it's
mean,
when
a
I
and a half later, we're talking.
see the crazy part. I did that DD. Here, I'll even link it to you. This is when I did the DD, and I got barely any traction on it on Twitter actually. So I was like, okay, now it's probably the time. 6 months later, maybe it's time to reach out to Reddit. I mean, like I have quite, quite all right on Reddit. Like I'm not that big or whatever, but I was like, maybe it will help. Um, you know, I should have probably acted earlier, but this is the DD I did back in November of 2021. Here, I'll link it to you on this as well. That's my Twitter post. This is back then. So I'm just resharing what I did back then. And it got like I mean it didn't get a lot of
And
traction.
the thing about it, it's
What were you saying?
see at least $300. I was search that you done back even today.
Of course. It's even more relevant than it was back then because we have
And
known
a lot of
so much how deep the corruption goes.
times I in the past, and I go back and I see with a more clarity because I've increased my and I look at the old DD and I'm like, can really now you talk about an algorithm running the
Hmm.
program, and after you've learned all about the algorithms, you the corruption then.
Oh yeah,
According to the
like people on
algorithm,
yeah, I think
go
it
ahead.
was Rizzo Stonks or Ape Average. They're both great on Twitter. One of them tweeted me the quantum AI that's connected with BlackRock. I think it's the Google's quantum
Mm,
AI. That's what's joined. That's what's running this thing, by the way. Uh, I'm
what
just
is it?
finding every day. So it's a quantum AI thing, like a supercomputer that's linked to BlackRock, and it shares the
Right.
uh, same structure. I think it all links to some kind of Google quantum stuff. That's what's running the
So
show.
what you're speaking of that's running the show, that's not the Aladdin program,
No, no, Aladdin is part of it.
is what
It's part of it. It's connected to it.
part of it.
I think it's the quantum AI.
Says here
The
that
It's the quantum
go ahead. That's
AI.
important. I want to hear this.
It's the Quantum Artificial Intelligence Lab by Google.
Mm. Wait,
By Google.
move. Google AI. You
Mm-hmm.
see the repair. One of the Google engineers reflected that their AI program had learned feelings, and its feelings were it didn't want to be turned off, afraid to be turned off. And I'm like, what?
Let me see.
I see
I
my neighbor's
mean,
dog in it. This is what
let's
worries me, and I've said for some time now because there was another company, and I think it was Google, who turned their AI program because it was communicating with other the computer with its own sophisticated language. And when they realized that, they just turned it off. The company did that. I don't remember which one it was because that was over a year ago.
yeah, I remember that.
And we're in a dangerous position. And it's programmed the computer how retail is going to feel, and we can. Well, in doing that, you gave the AI to feel, to understand feelings. You're telling me
Mhm.
something's wrong with my audio.
Yeah, at times.
Let me. I'm gonna refresh. Go ahead and see if there's a question in the chat that my audio comes in better.
Wow, there's another one. There's so many posts I've missed. Here's another one I sent you in DM and Twitter. This is JP Morgan and
Are
BlackRock.
you a member of our? Are you a member of our board?
I never got the link.
Mm. I'm gonna give you a link. What I'm about to putting in. Let's see, text channels. I'm gonna where you can post your um, these
Oh, for sure.
links and everybody can see them. Everybody loves you. Do you realize how loved you are by the community?
That's crazy, man. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess I deserve it or I don't deserve it. I don't know. I'm just doing my best. But I
Well,
appreciate
anybody
that.
that
Yeah.
digs in as deep as as anybody that digs in deep and gets the research done, and I mean everybody's gonna appreciate not just shooting
Mm-hmm.
from the hip like a lot of the YouTubers do.
Yep. Yep.
What do you today with margin calls?
Wait, was that to me? Sorry.
It says here margin calls. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. We haven't heard anything yet.
Federal risk letter can tell where their collateral stand, and rather than add to it or whether they're safe. The market following the way it is, we have to assume they ought to be getting these damn letters saying, "Hey, cough up the money."
Yeah, the reverse repo is one of their margin collateral. It's the most
Reverse
fraudulent
repo,
thing. Yeah, that's what
reverse
they
repo,
use. Yep, back with the Fed.
reverse repo. Can you explain? Can you explain like me? Let's talk reverse repo. What does it do? How does it work?
I mean, it's been explained pretty much, by a lot of people. I don't know, like you could find you can go to AMC Bigham's and he'll explain it more in detail. I don't think there's like, a simple way. It's something the Fed basically operates every day.
What is what?
In my understanding, like what it's used for, it's like margin collateral for these people that have been manipulating the market. At least they can write it off as that. And it's still going up. That's the insanity of it. It's an
It says here a
overnight thing,
reverse.
so go ahead.
It's repurchase agreement conducted by the desk, also called a reverse repo, is a transaction in which the desk sells a security to an eligible party with an agreement to repurchase that same security. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, basically fraud.
Yeah.
It's like
Basically.
the ISDA contracts.
I loved one video I watched. A guy named Rob talking about ex hedge fund that was in jail, and he was on CNBC, and he was
Mm-hmm.
discussing how all the hedge funds are fixing to start falling like dominoes. Is, for example, if they've already got off their short position of AMC, the unwinding is not going to affect us at all. And the unwinding starts when? Like today, doesn't it? Or in the next couple days?
They never planned to unwind. That's the thing. They never did.
Melvin?
All of them.
Don't plan on it. If they whine, that means the game's over for them.
Yeah, yeah. If they're unwinding, that means it's over for them. We haven't. See, here's the thing.
It's
All that
game
is
over.
FUD apparently, because what happened? Where's Melvin? What happened to Melvin? Why is everything silent already? What was the last time he was announced? Melvin unwinding. That was May 18th. No, that was April 20th. It's the same post by CNBC. Look at this. Okay, this is absolute ridiculous. I'll send this to you on Twitter. This is the first post, and this is the concurrent one. The only difference, it's the dates. They put the same one a month later. So see these medias are pieces of trash.
Oh my God!
It's the same
let me
post,
stop
but it's
page.
a
I'm gonna
month
go
later.
and show everybody what you just sent me. It shows that it's the same damn article, just with another title.
Yeah, it's
And
reposted a month later.
here it is, everybody. This article a month later was embattled hedge fund Melvin Capital unwinding, and then a month later we get that they're saying that they're going to unwind. I mean, it's a damn post.
It's so
They
stupid.
could have at least changed the picture. What's up,
They
Plotkins?
don't. That's the thing, dude.
I hope Plotkins slept well last night.
See, they're trying to make it so that it doesn't sound negative. That's the thing.
But when a hedge fund uses the term unwinding, that means the game's over. They have to reset. I was just watching one video where they were saying that it was Raj again, and he said that what they do is they want to unwind and then start over, which is what Melvin wants to do. And the problem they're having is their investors are going, nah, just give us back our money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, where's the justice on that?
Where's the
See,
justice anywhere? This is so ridiculous.
yeah, he should have been he should have been investigated a long time ago. There's absolute no excuse for somebody doing this short, being bailed out, and not held accountable, especially with the conflict of interest, a hedge fund conflict of interest with the market maker.
Hmm.
That that alone is absolute nuts. But then they go after Elon Musk.
You're right.
It's the
Well, Elon, you didn't file it in time.
well,
Jeez. And the
well
rest of these
yeah.
some bitches get off with murder.
Well, now they're going after him and Dogecoin, while the market maker has been fraudulently manipulating the stock market for decades, and they just get a $15,000 fine. It's absolutely ridiculous. This Wall Street fraud is so deep.
When you
It,
when you talk about fines, I want to share this with y'all for a minute. I've noticed, and they've passed regulations to where they can fine them up to 100% of whatever the offense was. And say, for example, what the offense caused $60 million was the offense. Well, they can fine them $60 million. Fining hedge funds is not the answer for the apes. Why? Because it's taking money outside of their treasury that they could have paid us, and now instead of being able to pay us $60 million, the $60 million went to a fine, and that's why I hate hearing that one of them's been fined right now because that's my money they're taking.
yeah, it's money laundering inside. They're taking taxes. They're taking people's capital earned. They're taking people's gains and they're putting it back into the treasury, and they're cycling it in within themselves again. It's absolute fraud. This stuff happened with Bernie Madoff constantly.
What about Bernie Madoff?
Oh, when he took people's money, he
Mm-hmm.
cycled it inside his own firm, and he disclosed trades that never existed. So he
Yeah,
would
and
say
here,
like, he would get investors like their money that they would put into his firm or whatever, and then he would disclose trades that he never did, or even and the gains reported that he reported. He would create artificial reports, artificial numbers in his order, in his book, in his firm book, and obviously Marco Polos, one of the guy that did the investigation, a mathematician. He's like, this doesn't add up, and like literally in 10 minutes, it took him to basically investigate and prove that Bernie Madoff was a fraud, and the SEC didn't listen to him for like 16 years. But yeah, it's the same thing that he did back then. Now you have all these people doing it together.
hmm,
It's not just like Bernie Madoff. It's hedge funds, banks, family offices. You have the Fed involved in this. You have every single entity that's colluding with all these market makers running on the exchanges. And NYSE is the most corrupt exchange in the entire stock market. And
I
people
feel that.
don't
I
realize.
can feel that because a lot of people got mad at me because I jumped on AA's butt, and they like, well, he did contact the New York Stock Exchange, so they sent me the clip, and I listened to it, and I was like, I did an apology video because he said I've reached out to the New York Stock Exchange about failure to deliver several times, and they have not responded back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why would they?
why would they? I would think it would be because they would be afraid of repercussions towards them, because if he's reached out and they have not responded to the criminal activity going on in his company, they're going to be held as responsible as the people that are doing the fuckery.
Not really, until there is legal actions taken by like DOJ or certain branches of government. They don't care.
And then I looked at the membership of the New York Stock Exchange, and who do you think sits on this New York Stock Exchange?
Oh, they're all in cahoots. They're all like they all get either a raise and they get promoted to a New York Stock Exchange, or to the FICC, or to the Citadel, or to JP Morgan, or whatever type of thing.
Right.
They're all partners within each other, conflict of interest. This is the biggest RICO event in history. And Bernie Madoff is just it shows you a picture. It's like if you have a like puzzles a puzzle piece that's 1,000 puzzle pieces together that you need to put together. Imagine Bernie Madoff just being that one puzzle piece. When you put it all
Right.
together, then you have the big picture. That's what's going on. We're in this big picture, and all we have is Bernie Madoff from previous history. That's this one puzzle piece that we can look at while we're trying to put the pieces together. We're trying to build this picture to understand what the whole entire picture. But yeah, it's the whole people coming and doing this fraud together. That's what's going on. See, it's when the TD Ameritrade did that thing when they burned that facility,
Mm-hmm.
allegedly. That's probably what happened. Um, there was action being taken by DOJ against investigating like 50 hedge funds, and obviously TD Ameritrade was one of them, with Charles Schwab and all these other guys. See, when they are pushed by justice, that's when you start seeing the shady things going on. We need to see that again. We need to see action being announced and them taking that action. I still think it's going on. I don't think they're off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see it. We don't see what's going on. They're probably collecting loads of evidence. Man, I'm waiting for the day till Gary Gensler gets announced conflict of interest. That's the day I'm waiting. I'm like, when you see SEC being investigated, then you know it's a Bernie Madoff event, and we're very close.
If the SEC gets investigated,
Yes,
that would probably, like you were talking about the puzzle, that would probably be the last piece of the
straw.
puzzle.
Hmm. Because
uh,
that's what initiated Bernie Madoff to give up. He didn't have enough funds to pay. He didn't have anything to basically continue the fraud that he was doing. When he ran out of liquidity, he literally sold himself out. See, these people who are billionaires, who are trillionaires, they can't imagine themselves being millionaires again or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's over
in
for
that
them.
something, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. You got to understand the picture. You have to go back in history to understand what's going on. And if see, it's not just about algorithms and markets. It's you have to understand the world and how it works and how what's going on behind the scenes. You have to think like they do.
Yes, you have to get into the mind of your opponent if you're going to beat
Yep.
your opponent.
Yep.
When I was
And
studying law and practicing law, I was sort of a paralegal. You could say I wrote briefs and shit. I got a lot of people. I helped a lot of people at that time. When the squeeze happens, everybody wants to know what you gonna do with your money when the squeeze happens. I think I'm gonna go back and finish my paralegal degree.
oh yeah, I mean, when this thing is over, dude, it's just you're gonna see a revival like no other. Like I still think there's gonna be there is no way there is no market that there isn't a market crash coming. Everything is showing and leading towards that. The inflation is skyrocketing. There's food shortages going around. I mean, there's plants and food processing plants that are being lit on fire. There's a lot of weird stuff going on every single day.
Cattle
There's
dying, 10,000 heads of cattle just dying. Uh, a flock of
yeah,
sheep just fell over and died.
yeah, all coincidence. Yeah,
All coincidence. And it's not that big of a deal when you're dealing or looking at it from a tunnel vision of one incident. But when you start looking at the whole picture and you seeing food processing plants going down, cattle being, I was about to say murdered, but let's just, what's the word they like, allegedly just dying from the heat and shit.
Yeah.
No, I think somebody is pushing us into a position where there will be a food shortage.
Yeah, just like 2019 and 2020 with the pandemic thing. It's the same people, it's the same enslavement attempts to control society and push them into an obedience to government type of things where the government is not even for us anymore, quite obviously.
Well, quite
Um,
obviously.
but that's where it's heading. That's you see this is why like I want everybody to when we get or to be everybody be smart with the money when they get it after this is over because you're not going to have any opportunity. They're not going to give you another opportunity after this.
Oh no, this is it. This is one opportunity, one shot. You will get paid, but it's going to be determined upon you what you do with your money.
Yep. Yeah, it's I never thought it would be this bad, but here we are.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
AMC, how do you see it finishing out? What's your honest opinion?
AMC, AMC and Jimmy. I think obviously it depends when action is taken behind the scenes. They will continue according to Citadel and Ken Griffin 2008. He's fighting it till the very last second, to the very last hour.
I
Uh,
looked everywhere for that video where he said that. I can't find that video. I
you
was going
gotta
to use it to show
the
that they're
thing.
doing the exact his feelings are exactly the same thing. Every day brought them a little bit closer to coming out of all this.
Yeah, he's still trying to be the bank. He's still trying to be the bank. The same mistake he did back in 2008. He didn't learn. He's still trying to do the same thing. And so you need to have the banks flushed out. If JP Morgan goes down, he goes down. It's the same kind of issue. But yeah, the only way this ends is if the people are put to justice, and obviously the faster the better, because we can move on and we can make change. We can change the world. The faster the better for us. The faster the better for the economy. The faster the better for the United States and the whole entire global world. Obviously, I feel like we will have this moment when we we get paid where AMC goes. I don't know what kind of levels it will go to. I mean, it really depends on like how many players go down, how many people are margin called, how many like with the whole ISDA stuff. There's like trillions, hundreds of trillions with the banks and the derivatives that they're holding within the ISDA. All that money. I mean, AMC easily above 1,000 for me. Easily above 1,000 just from that alone. Um, but it's things have to happen in such an order, and it has to get all these players under justice. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to real life events, not just some kind of algorithm, crap. Because they keep manipulating with the algorithms, they keep manipulating with the technology. You ain't gonna beat technology that they're using. It's not how it works. People have to physically go there and wrap their hands up and handcuff them and put them in prison. There has
To
to be
make
an
it stop.
investigation. Yeah, yeah.
If
They
it's
have
going
to
to
physically
stop, that's
stop
the
it.
only way that's going to stop it.
Yeah. So that's why we speak loud, we speak clear, we speak facts, we back up with evidence, we share, and we make change and impact. The louder that we speak, the more it goes. It's the same thing with Bernie Madoff. People started speaking loud. People started to push on SEC. People started to push on the people that were in charge of investigating this stuff, and eventually it came. Eventually it happened. Eventually the change started to occur, and he was under the radar. That's the thing. Remember when Catch Striker started to do the planes, and now she's doing the stuff. Amazing
Right.
person. Love her
Billboards and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, she's exposing and putting the light on and the radar on the one that's behind all this fraud. And the more we do that, the more we shine the light. And they he was afraid. You look at what was going on, like he was trying to lawsuit her and stuff, and all these other people. The guy is afraid of having a light shine on him. He wants to be in the shadows. That's where they really have their power, is when they're not known, but everybody now knows about them. The media knows about them. We know about them. The news stations knows about them. Politicians even know about him. Everybody now knows about him. It's just a matter of how much we speak, how much we continue to expose and back up with facts, like evidence, like what I put out, documentation of what was going on. They try to kick the can, they try to slip it under the rug, but we bring it back up. We bring the facts back up, and they're clueless. They cannot deny evidence. See, this is a thing before the court. You cannot say, oh, this didn't exist, when you have verifiable proof
Right.
before the jury. You can say, hey, this is what happened. They ignored it. They didn't take any action. They didn't put the fraud that was happening back in that time. They were responsible. They didn't take action, and there's repercussions for that. And so when you hold on to that, when your foundation is truth, they cannot deny that. And so we build upon that case
Mm.
continually. And when the time comes, then you start to, you declare victory when they can no longer continue their corruption and they're investigated. So that's why you continue fight. This is why I keep going back to Bernie Madoff, because eventually his bubble popped and he couldn't continue. So that's why we
Well,
continue fighting. This is a physical battle at the same time, a market battle, emotional battle, mental battle. People can't give up. That's the main thing.
can't give up. It's not that I have so much money invested more than my time. And to me,
Yeah.
my time is more valuable than money. But I could have been in like 100 other plays by now.
That's right.
But we
Yeah.
continue to hold. Redbox. Everybody's curious about Redbox. Ask me about Redbox. Redbox, can you make money on Redbox? Yes, if you get in and out. If you think you're going to hold it and it's going to be a short squeeze play, because they're fixing to dilute the shares by 1 million with the warrants that are coming out. So that's not good. Then they've got the merger acquisition going on, and they're only offering pennies for Redbox there. So, as a long term investment, no, Redbox is a dead cat.
In my opinion, I would, with how the whole market has been happening since November of 2021, they are not trying to let anything short squeeze. I'll
No,
just be honest.
nothing,
They'll
nothing.
pump and they'll dump. It's the same thing that's been happening with SPY. It's been pumping and dumping. SPY is a meme stock. They have no liquidity. They have no collateral. Almost they're running out of collateral, and so you're seeing certain tickers pop off and then they dump like literally within days. So
They're gone.
if you caught on Redbox, man, good for you. I'm happy for you.
That's
But
right.
what
I
happened?
made a little bit of money off of it, and I'm thinking about maybe this morning jumping in. I just don't see the price that I'm looking for.
Yeah, people
But
are expecting like a pop to like 50 or pop to 100 or something. You're playing against a market maker who has technology running against you. I mean, I'd love for those prices to happen, but you ain't beating him in this area right now. There has to be a stop physically investigating of the people coming and investigating him physically there. Otherwise, he's just gonna continue doing this with all the players that he's part of. It's not just the market maker; it's all the players he's connected with that are in collusion doing this together. with family offices. I mean, you look at Archegos. Who was he involved with? Yeah, Credit Suisse, and Credit Suisse is being investigated now.
Well, here's my view of that. How long are you going to investigate? I mean, you've been investigating forever.
Right.
And did you go up to these people and you go, "Did you do this?" No. Okay.
It's only a matter of time, I think.
Well, they're running out of time. And one of the biggest ways that I know that they're running out of time is they put out that spoof article that says they're jumping in and they're shorting right now because they feel retail is getting frustrated. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Bank of America is adding shorts to AMC. Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah,
It's a bunch of BS. They're trying to make it so that like retail feels more exhausted. That's the whole thing. Like you read between the lines what they're saying. They're saying that retail is exhausted, so they're putting the post to exhaust retail by saying that. When in turn retail is not exhausted, we are more energetic than we ever actually were. More energy. We are literally pouncing every single day on them.
I was on a live stream. Well, I wasn't on the live stream. I was in the chat for the Massalorian and Tony D. And I'm saying this because Froggy's here. I asked him about the crime candles, and everybody loved that phrase, and everybody was giving Froggy praise because Froggy's the one to come up with the name. So I want to give a shout out to Froggy. He's in the chat, but he says he don't have time to jump in this morning.
Hey, what's up,
Uh,
Froggy?
I missed that, Froggy. I wish you could come on. Um, but everybody likes the phrase crime candles. In your opinion, what do you think these spike ups or spikes down in the post market? What do you feel they are?
Oh, the current ones right now that's been happening recently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the new, I think, SEC rule that gives like a window after market close. I thought
After
it
market.
was, yeah, it's after market. The 5 a.m. that happens is, well, I guess it's 8 a.m. No, it's 5. No, okay, so it's 8 a.m. Eastern. It's the options chain that comes in. That's what you see. So 8 a.m. is the options chain, but after market closes, that's the new SEC. I think gives them like a five. For some reason, I see 30-minute window where the big institutions are able to foreclose their trades or have a
Right.
window to make big blocks of trades before the day ends or whatever, before they registered
I,
or something like that.
I remember when the rule or regulation was passed, and I can't remember the number. I mean, we get so many numbers going through our head. We got NSCC 2023 or 2022.3. We got this regulation. We got that regulation. And I remembered that they passed that regulation that basically what it stated was they have 5 minutes, whatever the price closed on that day, they have between 5 or 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
to close out the trades that they have for that day at that price, and they could drop a shitload of shares at that moment without affecting the stock price.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's the
What
SFT
con-
program.
what confused me was on one example in that 1 minute time frame where it spiked up or down, there was only 600 volume. So what I done was I pushed it each step of the way, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, to take a look in that candle. And if you go to a higher time frame, you see 170,000 volume. And that's unusual for a post market. So that's them. And they're trading within that hour after closing 100,000 shares, 150,000 shares. That's got me concerned.
Well, it could be 170 times one share high frequency traded back and forth. We don't know that. We don't see the route the trading activity that happens. So it could be what, like half of that, right? And it could be two shares traded back and forth. It could be 100,000 shares traded 1.5 times within the algorithm, high frequency trading. The volume is just showcasing you how many trades transacted, not necessarily how many shares were transacted. So it could have been. It's obviously. I think it's all about high frequency trading because they're doing nanoseconds. So even what we're
Right.
seeing is just shares traded back and forth, option derivatives traded back and forth. The volume has been absolutely fake. Volume is not even used for
Sure.
anything.
The
But
volume is fake all
yeah,
throughout the day.
yeah,
They let, I've said this from the beginning, they let the volume they need, that algorithm, and I don't understand that dark thing. I got this big ass ring light shining right in my face, and this damn computer still goes dark on me. But the algorithm, when trades are put into the system, who the hell is calling me? Uh, the algorithm only lets the amount of volume in to produce the candle it needs to complete that pattern that it
yes,
operates on.
hmm
Any other volume, buy or sell, gets shipped to a dark pool.
that's right. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And
So that's
even,
why I said buying pressure, selling pressure, none of that matters. When we held our little experiment that the guy from Wall Street wanted to do that at a particular time and day, we all bought. Well, we knew it wasn't going to affect the price, or those that are involved in algorithmic following knew that it wasn't going to help.
yeah, and even on the run in January that happened, that was absolute normal. It's just the spike that happened on that day was abnormal in the way that the candle is higher than it normally was, but the same pattern played out. It's just the candle was a lot higher than usually what would happen. So you're still seeing the same pattern replay. It's just the height of which the pattern is played at. So the boundary or dimension, like when we ran to 77, right? 7726, I think was post market or pre market. It ran to that level. It could have been at 12. It could have been at 15 or 16. It didn't matter. Something happened in the algorithm within their books that caused the run up to happen that way. Whether they were releasing dark exchange, whatever pressure off of their margin on that day because there's so much buying that happening, and they had to hedge within the option derivatives to to hedge for to that price. So I think it's all about hedging. Obviously, they're hedges. That's what they do. They hedge, and
They
market
had
makers they do the same
hence
thing.
their
They hedge
name.
against risk. So the way to beat them is options. That's where they play their game. So when you hedge against their hedge, exercising calls or whatever, people can do whatever they want. But when that's what happened, that's what drove a lot of the price. And look what we found out recently with the Redbox.
Mhm.
What was the Schwab or what was the exchange? Not the exchange, the brokerages. Many brokerages started to remove and put options in sell close only.
Right.
Not you couldn't exercise, you couldn't even open a new option. You only could sell.
Right.
That
I
is
got it here.
worse.
The options, the ability to buy more options were turned off and put to position close only. You could not even exercise the option.
That's worse than shares. That's worse than them removing the buy button on January 21. People don't even understand. When you exercise, they have to fetch 100 shares to
100
fulfill
shares
that.
right then.
Yeah,
That's
and you couldn't even do that. You had to sell the option for premium. And of course, they can just, print it out of thin air and just give you the premium for that.
right.
But but it wouldn't affect the price of the stock. So they have a margin that they hedge for against the stock, against any ticker. So if people start exercising the call option, well, that would drive to unlimited losses for them that they have hedged for. So that's why they did position close only for freaking options. That's absolute. This was the biggest crime of all time. Just
It
recently
really
happened.
is. To to say that you take the buy button and I can't buy any shares is one thing. I'm already in the play and I want to exercise my options. Well, they tell you you can't.
Yeah, you can
What's
only
I
sell it
thought
for
your whole
premium.
leverage.
It's it's disgusting. People. I don't know how people like just like swiped it and then don't understand the level of what went on just recently. I don't.
Yeah.
Option, especially since they only been playing options shares, they just park it in the dark pool. They don't even care about them. It goes to the DTCC. It's held there. They don't care about that. They can flush it into the market whenever they want. That's where all the memory is held. All the DTC, all your shares are tracked there. But with the options, they are forced, according to the system, they are forced to play that. So if you're exercising a call option, they're forced to play that out. The algorithm is forced to play it out, and it forces them
Right.
to hedge it. That's
Right.
what
The
happened.
algorithm's forced to do what it's going to do because it's a program.
Yeah, it's taking inputs from the market. So it's taking inputs from your positions, from the exchanges, from brokerages, and it's sending them inputs back and forth. Oh, look, this person tried to exercise an option, so it automatically sends them the input, and they're like, oh, time to go fetch 100 shares so I can fulfill that order for that call options, whatever, blah, 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 and so on. So imagine if millions of people continually do this. Well, they will drive the price up because there's a hedging market system that's been embedded by them so that they don't get flushed out, so they can cover their losses. See,
I
but
want to give
they've been. Go ahead.
I want to give a quick shout out to Froggy. If you're not subscribed to Froggy Styles, you can Froggy, if you're still here, drop a link for your channel in the chat and subscribe to him because he's made the connection between the spike up and downs to the options market. And he's been doing research on there and he got some pretty good information and he teaches on that. So if you're not subscribed to Froggy, you should do that.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the option education is a lot important right now. Shares is very simple. You buy shares, you hold shares, sell when
That's
you
right.
want. That's up to you. Options is a totally different ball game. They play the options chain on everything. It's how they hedge. They can just write up a contract. It's like how they do ISDAs. They do secret ISDAs constantly every single day between themselves, between other players, between prime brokers, between market makers, banks, whatever entity. There need to. I mean, you look back at what happened in January 2021. I would not be surprised they were writing overnight ISDA contracts with certain people to basically bail out like Melvin Capital or other players to find them the margin requirement or collateral given to not let them tank. It's disgusting.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. It's disgusting whenever you get to watch somebody just steal and steal and
Oh
steal.
yeah.
And it's like it's the son of the sheriff, so the sheriff's not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, that Jon Stewart interview with Gary Gensler is the most frustrating and disturbing and absolute aggravating video I have ever seen. Praise to Jon Stewart though. What a great interview
Because
that was.
he tried, just Gary Gensler wouldn't answer anything.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's like, oh no, Congress makes the laws. We enforce them. You haven't enforced crap.
You haven't
It's
enforced shit.
yeah. It's just embarrassing.
It's kind of like not to become political or anything, but these people that are protesting outside of the Supreme Court justices' homes and they're like, something's got to be done. We need to pass this law. No, there's laws on the books you're not enforcing. They are not supposed to be there. So enforce the laws that's on the books.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point of writing laws if a market maker can be exempt from them, like for short exemptions or whatever? What's the point? Why make the laws in the first place?
Right. You have the rule that says if the stock price falls below 10%, it kicks in that, what is it?
SSR,
SR. Yeah, SSR.
yeah, short
Kicks in
sale
that
exemption
SSR rule, but then they could turn
restriction.
around and say, well, but we're exempt from that.
Yeah. That's
So
it's
why have the rule?
because they're a market maker and they provide liquidity. It's like it's like
Liquidity.
it's like if you don't have your house payment, it's like, hey man, I'll just be exempt for another month. I'll pay you in like 10 years. That's
Right.
what basically what it is, with money that you don't even have. They're just creating liquidity out of thin air. That's why they have 65 plus billion securities sold, not yet purchased on their books, on the Citadel books. That's the
Mhm.
biggest thing of all. Like, who allows a not just a market maker, but like any entity of any sort to sell a security they do not possess?
Well, let's go to the Virtue interview where he straight up confesses, yes, well, if we get an order for 1,000 shares, we go ahead and fill that order. Well, there's not 1,000 shares there.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that right
just
there
they
should be
conjure.
enough. No more investigation is needed. You just confessed.
Exactly. They just can just print them, conjure them up synthetically for the sake of liquidity.
Hmm.
That's the thing. They play with words like they do black magic. It's the most disgusting and disturbing thing I've seen ever. It's it's just like what kind of how privileged are they? That's the
How
most.
privileged.
Yeah.
It's the same.
You miss a car payment or you miss anything, you get interest. On top of that interest, you get taxed. They don't even get their fines is money for them. It's like they get
Right.
paid for breaking the law.
And you make $3 billion on the deal, but you
And they
get fined $16 million.
yeah, you get take it you get to take them out for ice cream.
Yeah, me and you go rob a bank. We get caught. We got a $300,000, so we only have to pay a fine according to the judge, $3,000, and we get to keep the rest.
Yeah, think of it like a big spending on a very expensive French dinner. That's basically what they do. It's not even a slap on the wrist. It's just like, hey man, just don't do it again. And then they
Don't
get
get no,
caught.
don't get caught doing it again. You can do
Right.
it, just don't get caught doing it,
And they still do it again. Yeah.
and they still do it again. Well, of course, if I could just walk into any bank I want and just walk into the vault and take out any amount of money I want and leave, why wouldn't I do that on a daily basis?
Yeah. It's just we got to see economy crash, man. This thing has to go. Everybody's speaking out how corrupt the Fed is. And I've pointed many times, man, Powell has traded on blackout days.
Hmm.
This is when nobody, not a single entity is allowed to make trades. Not a single one. That's when the
Right.
market's flushed, shut down. Somebody turned the market on to initiate these trades. This happened during, I think it was February, when the SPY tanked and it was instantly propped up by the Fed. Instantly, like the second.
Hmm.
Um, and it was blackout hours or blackout trading hours. There's just the Federal Reserve is not federal whatsoever, and it's not a reserve. It's just corruption. There's nothing federal or reserve about any of that.
Well, they can continue to mess over us for as long as they want to. It's like we're talking about now. When the market crashes, that's affecting them now. They're really becoming hurt by what's going on. And the further the market crashes, the more it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I see that would be the glorious thing if they get liquidated. Whew, boy, if they get liquidated, that's going to be the end of it all.
Right. And that's what it's going to take.
Yeah,
People say,
the
well,
right
what's the
reset.
catalyst going to be? When the market crashes to the point where they have no more life. But then again, I'm worried because I see these articles and everybody's happy that the hedge fund is going bankrupt. But that doesn't help us at all. You can be happy that a hedge fund is going bankrupt, and it says that they've lost 50% over the last year or last quarter or whatever the case may be. We didn't see none of that money.
It has to be a chain reaction. It has to be a
That's,
very rapid chain reaction of everybody going down.
that's right.
It can't be just one because they can play around that. It has to be. It has to be one goes down, then the other one follows. That's what happened with the 1929 and 1987 market crash. It's when financial institutions they saw that the market maker was manipulating everything and they started to pull money out. You know what it's called? A fire sale. You know what the
Right.
NSCC 2023 did? Uh, 003, when the SEC put in, they put in the SFT program to avoid a fire sale within the market, to avoid market stress. That's what it's for. It's to prevent a fire sale. In
Right.
1929, 1927, and 1929 and 1987 crash was the fire sale. Both of those times.
Hmm.
That's what it's
And they're
looking right
trying to
now.
prevent that now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Hmm.
I mean, we've seen Bitcoin now. What? It's down 50%. It's crazy. More than 50% since it was a 40K. Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah, it's like 60% down. Yeah, pretty wild. And it's when they said the Bitcoin's decentralized, nothing is decentralized.
Nothing
Nothing at
is.
all.
Let's see. AMC at up in the pre-market 26 cents, up 2.08%. Redbox at down 15 cents, down 1.25%. Sundial Growers is at 32 cents, up 0.01 at for a 4.5% jump. That's pretty good this morning. I'm glad to see Sundial's moving up.
Yeah, it's crazy barcoding, isn't it? Every single pre-market.
Yeah.
Just up. It's just these giant wicks, and it's just fulfilling the algorithms.
And the pre and post markets give the algorithm a chance to catch back up, get its breath, and figure out which direction it wants to go into next.
Yeah, it's sort of a pre-planned thing that it initiates. Everything is automated. The whole entire market is automated. People don't realize it. The autonomous self-learning AI that I was referring to with BlackRock, it's
Hmm.
all automated. They don't control it.
No, they don't
They
control it. That's
watch it. They watch it, but they don't control it. They're watching over it. That's how they get people. See, it's the thing of like when you interfere with computing, like quantum computers. If there's a human correction made, like let's see, like oh the market is going up, the market is going down, and they're interfering with it. Well, it
hmm
changes the algorithm behavior. They don't want to interfere with it. They'd rather let it play out so that it benefits them instead of it going the opposite way with that they don't know about. So if people find out like how it behaves, they don't care about that necessarily. They care about them knowing how it plays out first before anybody does.
that's right. It's who can predict what that algorithm is going to do that wins.
Yep.
That's why I watch Extreme Gains, for example. I'll look at Extreme Gains. He's got his algorithm, he's got his bar patterns set out, and as far as I can tell, he's pretty much almost 100% on whenever he does his predictions. So I look at bar candles and I go take a nap. I'm like, okay, it's going to go down. I might as well go get me a nap so I don't stress out.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
What I'm wondering is when all this is said and done, will this algorithm keep in play? Because if it is, we have identified it and is able to track it. So that gives us an upper hand. They're going to have to eventually turn this algorithm off, or else, you know, when people get their head out their asses uh, with all their excuses, that the algorithm, look to the algorithm. It tells you what it's. People say, "Why aren't you a trillionaire?" Well, it's it's not easy to find that algorithm sometimes.
That is exactly true.
Yeah, I would be a trillionaire, and I have made a few dollars on some option plays with AMC because of the algorithm. But to find it every day is kind of rough. Takes a
Yeah,
lot of.
that's exactly right. It does take a lot of effort. I mean, I've called many times, like I try to predict the algorithm, and I mean, it's recently it's been pretty spot on, but like after it played 15th of June, it just replayed itself.
Hmm.
So there's moments you're gonna
Or
get it, and there's moments you're not gonna get it.
I could never understand. I would find the algorithm and I would be tracking it and it would be on target. And then all of a sudden it would go completely opposite of what my bars patterns was showing.
Mhm.
I thought I didn't find the algorithm at the time. I said, well, I must be wrong. But it was doing what I coined as a head fake. It's going to do a mirror of what, if it's supposed to run up, it's going to run down and create a mirror image.
Mhm. Correct. Yeah. It copies itself. I think it's more complicated than we probably think.
It
It's
is.
it's it's using like its recent with its history, so it's trying to play out what's the most unpredictable pattern based on human prediction or whatever, human psychology, all this crazy stuff. But yeah, it still involves like how their margin and how their stuff is used. Because I mean, we ran to 77, so obviously stuff repeats quite frequently. It's just it's a predicting of when does it end, when does it finally finish.
Mm,
That's the type of thing. Because obviously, if they get investigated and they're done for, the algorithm will not have any collateral to play that zone it won't be $12.49 where AMC would be at. It would be the same behavior, but it
hmm.
would be
It's the same behavior.
it'll be in the hundreds or thousands or whatever. It'll be the
That's
same
right.
thing happening. Yeah.
With what you're saying, you can take, and you have because you shared with us your chart. You
Yep.
could take the bars pattern from August, overlay it today. It's a different price. That it was $7 or $20, and move it over to today. The price are different, but the price actions are the same.
The behavior is the same.
The
Yeah.
behavior is the same. Yes.
It's how you interpret the bars within the dimensional difference between the prices.
And
So
to a common man, these things are just mind blowing.
yeah, and that's the difference between like January to June and June to now. Like it looks the same, but the price is different. Like
Right.
like like from January to March, AMC it went from 5 to 14. From
Mhm.
after June, it went down instead of going up.
Right.
It went down to August. So 3 month, same 3 month interval to September, but it went the opposite direction. It started from the opposite direction.
One person made the comment, what do you think is better, slow bleed or rip the band aid off? I'm a rip the band aid off kind of guy. If I see shit's going south, I might as well just rip the band aid off, end it, start back over. They will go for a slow bleed because they believe that they can win in the end.
Yeah, they're trying to exhaust people. That's why they're trying to do a slow bleed.
Well, that's the purpose of the article that says, "Oh, retail is frustrated, so we're going to double down on our shorts." We're not frustrated. We're not going nowhere unless you can convince people to sell their stock and move into another stock such as Redbox. Then when Redbox falls and you try to get back into AMC, you're going to have less shares.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. They're trying to get people out so they sell their shares, the most valuable source in the market.
Yeah.
That's the thing
We
they can't
have
manipulate or
GME,
touch.
GME first. Let me give GME a shout out. GME first, and then AMC are the two most powerful plays ever created.
Yep.
If you have the patience to hang in there.
And they keep attacking these two stocks. These are the two most attacked stocks on Wall Street, and they always talk about them. They don't talk about other tickers. Other tickers are just a distraction off of these two. They
Yeah.
have shorted this thing so badly that they don't even have an answer for it.
Well, and remember this, Ortex. First off, Ortex is a T2 platform, and it's only 85% of the reported data. So if I really, really wanted to manipulate, I can manipulate the Ortex data and the Fintel data to say that Redbox, for example, is 111% shorted, and it has a cost to borrow of up to 930%. And but that's being manipulated. That's to cause you to see this great opportunity that's before you, and then you get suckered.
Yeah.
Mark asked, "Are you guys expecting a rip before the end of June, or will this can just keep kicking the can, kicking down the road?" I expect a rip. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm expecting a rip. They've set the narrative of Melvin unwinding. That is the narrative that will cause a small rip, but it's not going to be the play. I believe we'll hit 25, 30 pretty soon.
I'd say that's pretty conservative. I think that's pretty
I try to
um
be conservative.
it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, like you look at the weekly, it's been just barcoding for like 4 straight weeks
and
on
I'll
AMC.
add that
It's disgusting.
Extreme Gains' prediction with his bars pattern overlay showed me that it was going to barcode for a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's been barcoding since May 11th. I mean, actually, since the run of 34, it's been actually really just disgusting.
And I believe it's because the algorithm itself is doing that, and it's waiting for some type of action in the market so it can continue on its move.
hmm I think the next move is gonna be dramatic. It's either gonna be a really big, like a dump, not for AMC necessarily, but for the market. Although
For
it
the
will
market
take AMC down like temporarily. With
temporarily.
it, yeah, but which probably will initiate margin calls. If SPY goes down to like 200 something, whatever, like something like that. I'm watching SPY very carefully. I think that's one of their margin. If SPY goes down, their margin calls are for sure coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, I'm watching for that because it's tracking with 2008 quite actually to the T. Um, but yeah, like AMC, I don't know what it could go down to if it's temporary. Maybe like I don't know. You'll see in the teens, but it will hurt them because the DTCC haircuts will be pretty powerful on them. But
Um,
then when margin calls happen, you're gonna see boosters take off.
oh yeah. Have you seen the spy this morning?
Yeah, it's BS. It's
It looks
absolute
like
BS.
a gap way up 66.
Yeah,
And
93 on the RSI. It's not actually 94, 15 on the RSI.
mm,
1 minute candle. Yeah, it's BS. They're propping it up. It's probably going to sell off on the market open. They're probably trapping people right now, because look, you read what's going on with the world. Like, don't look at just the chart. You read what's going on with the world. Inflation is an all-time high. Food costs are crazy skyrocketing. Gas is going up. Uh, your foreign relations are at a terrible position right now. And then you have Biden still sending military funds and to
yeah,
Ukraine and all this stuff. It's no good. It's preparing for some collapse. And then you have China and Taiwan. It's really bad.
it's
It's really
really bad.
bad. Yeah, the market is not. It's not caught up to the real world events. That's for sure.
Well, and again, I told, and somebody just made this comment, and I'll go ahead and address it because you sooner or later you have to address a elephant in the room. The Brenda Queen of Swords situation, I'll address that in the Discord. I won't do that on a live. I'm busy with a friend right now giving us some really good DD, so I don't want to get a personal uh, narrative going here. We want to talk about AMC. I'll address this in the Discord. China, new aircraft carrier 2 we probably pay for it. Yeah, we probably pay for it. That's why they tell me about the ban on the executive order ban on China technology and military stocks. Tell us what's going on with that, because I know that's one of what is that Boss Blunt's topics.
Yeah, yeah. Boss is much. I'd refer to Boss Blunts more because he does that. That's not like one of my, one of my
Fortes.
DDs that I do. Yeah, that's not what I do. But he does a great job with more in detail regarding Chinese stuff. But I know that they are held collateral. By obviously you already know this. By
Mm-hmm.
for market makers, for banks and stuff like that. Um, I think there's more deeper stuff than that. I think obviously with the Russian bonds, who the heck knows how much deep it is. We know that Evergrande is now completely down. They're completely worthless. So when does that get affected? Like, when does that affect BlackRock? When does that affect the banks, JP Morgan, and all these other people? We'll see. I mean, it's a huge hit on their margin. That's 100% sure. Uh, it's when did they become rats? That's the thing. See, when you have a playground of rats, eventually they start eating each other, and the last two rats surviving, well, one of them is going to eat each other.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that's what's going on, and we need to start seeing that. And we kind of saw with Archegos with Huang, he started to rat on others because he did not want to have he did not want to see prison. Uh, so these yeah, we need to start seeing something going on with that part. But
Apparently, Ed here has been out the loop because he wants to know who the common sense investor is. I've been around for a while, dog. You just find in my channel. This statement, this statement. Oh, that's not it. Let me see. Where's it at? Right here. I've said this from the beginning. They're trying to manufacture world events to match the market drop. Uh, and I'll add to
interesting
that
point.
and just say that they're trying to manufacture world events to match the algorithms movements. That's why sometimes you'll get a blockbuster movie, but the stock goes down. Well, the narrative didn't match the algorithm. I believe, and people laugh. They say, "Oh, so you think that Russia invading Ukraine had something to do?" Absolutely. We're talking trillionaires here. They can affect the world stage.
That's an issue. They're not making the market align with the world events. They're making the world events align with the market. That's
That's right.
actually a good point. Yeah, it's
And
the other way around. Yeah.
and One time, an individual asked me, "Well, how do we beat them?" Well, or what's the algorithm's weakness? The algorithm's weakness is in order to move the line, they input data. So a world event will happen, and then they program it into the program. I mean, the algorithm is behind on the news because they have to input it into the machine.
Yeah, just like when Powell gets on to speak at the Fed, you see either a huge market drop or a huge market rise within the
Mm-hmm.
SPY. It's like a it's like a revolving door. Every time he comes in, it's like here comes a violent move. It's like what are they
Right.
gonna do now?
What's next?
Yeah,
What are
they
they going to
input
say
it.
next?
Yeah,
How you cover this move up?
yeah, they definitely input as something in. See, the Fed is involved in this, so they have direct access to these to the system, to the computing system that's controlling the market. 100%. Yeah, I mean, AMC is just showcasing that behavior. Obviously, GME is doing the same thing. It's just, it's a higher price. Uh, One day AMC is going to catch up to that. You'll see the same thing. It's
When
not.
when it does, that's when you're going to see it rip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me see.
I feel like the quantum computers and the algo. I think it's all done by secret society. I don't think it's done by any specific like entity. I think it's the same people that you know back in the old days that whatever you want to call them, the Freemasons or whatever. I think it's the
Right.
same people that
Call
are
it what you
have
want.
created this.
Freemasons, Illuminati, you know,
Yeah.
somebody. If you don't believe in those entities, then you're nuts because somebody's controlling all of this.
Yep. Yeah, it ain't the Fed. The Fed is definitely just one part of it, but it ain't just the Fed. There is a global interaction and involvement in this.
Okay, somebody asked, the stock whiz asked, so what's going to cause the algo to lose control? Number one, I don't believe you want that. The algorithm's purpose, the program of the algorithm, who I believe it was BlackRock that set it in motion, the purpose of it is to bring the squeeze and to break the hedge funds. The hedge funds, such as Citadel, for example, they are afraid of this algorithm. See, we believe Citadel is fighting us, but we're just sitting on the sidelines. Citadel battles this algorithm. I don't know what they're talking about. Somebody must have said something that caused a riff in the comments, but I must have missed it. So, what are you looking for this week?
I think we need to see a violent move for SPY because whether it's gonna be an up or down move, I think we might see a retest for SPY in the 376 range. Um, and then it will drop. I think the market hasn't kicked in an actual drop yet.
Well, you're pretty close to your prediction right now because it's at 372.38.
Yeah, I have. So what I'm referring to is on the 1 hour. It's 377.30. It's the 100
Wow.
100-day moving average. 377.30 is the resistance line, and
Oh, wow.
if it touches that, it's going to absolute knife, in my opinion.
See, I
It
haven't
doesn't
looked at
have
the
to.
I haven't looked at the SPY chart recently, but man, I see these same spike ups after pre-market, just like you were saying. So whatever's going on is tied to the SPY.
Yeah, and you can see the same thing happen with AMC. AMC popped off with SPY, and it's doing this like weird formation. Like you can look
Yeah.
at the yeah, it looks like it's doing like a weird M with long with long like legs. It looks like it's gonna maybe go down. That's what I mean. I've seen the M kind of formation algorithm quite a lot, but I could be wrong. I still think everything like what me and Boss were saying. I still believe that it has to sell off. Like there has to be coming a point where they can't no longer like their time
Prop
is
it up.
running out and they know they
Yeah, they can't
lost.
prop it up forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless
Once
you, of
they
course, keep printing money, and then you can.
well, yeah. Recently they got calls on AMC, like some like Citadel got calls, Susquehanna, and all these other ones. State Street, I believe, too. They got
Hmm.
calls for AMC again. That's just them hedging, but I think something's going to happen quite quite soon. I don't know when, but quite soon because we haven't had a run in June, a run in May, a run in April. It's like I usually focus on 3 month intervals.
Hmm.
And we actually seen 1.5 months later.
Hmm.
So March 31st, 1.5 months later is 45 days. So we've seen that in May, like a little tiny run. It's not a big run, but it's something with the algorithm that it runs in 1.5 month intervals and 3 month intervals.
Right.
So I'm predicting based on my theory, if it's March 30, if we ran on March 29th, so 3 months later, well, what's 3 months
Hmm.
later? Next week, Wednesday,
June. Yeah.
June 29th. Yeah.
So you're
So
looking at
I'm
a June
expecting
29th.
either we sell off like early this week, and then we at the end of the week we start popping off, and then into next week. Again, it's 3 month intervals. Is the same thing that sort of happened. Actually, it's the same thing that happened back in 2021. So in 2021, you had a peak on March 19th.
Okay.
Actually, it was a little bit higher, like March 18th, March 19th on the daily. And then you had basically 45 days later, um, April
I'm taking
27th,
notes. I'm taking
you had a,
notes.
oh, you're good. Yeah, in April, in late April, you had another run. It was actually like 45 days later. Um, in between 30 to 45, so 1.5 months.
Hmm.
The algo ran it up again and then it flushed it out again. And then in May 18th, so just like under 3 months, you had the algorithm push up. But the 3 months completed before the 3 months came up. So June 2nd, it hit a peak, which is within that time window that I'm looking 1.5 months to 3 months. So it's for some reason it runs that period. And what happened 3 months later? Well, September 13 happened where it ran up again. And then it ran up again in November. And then there was a really long period for some reason that it didn't run until February 16, where we hit another little moment. And then after that date, it started to sell off. And then we ran again in March. So it's like a weird interval. It's like 1.5 months, or it's at 3 months, 1.5 months, or half of that. I don't know what the algorithm is using for the. I think it's something to do with the collateral or how they release things. But I'm looking something to happen on June 29th, at
Mm.
least for this short time period. At least some kind of little run, or it might be a big run. I don't know. But what I'm looking for after this June 29th, June 29th, so 3 months later would be September 29th.
That'd be
And
the
if,
next run.
well, here's the thing. Somebody mentioned that the
Mhm.
Cat 6 update for fit for let me see. NMS. I think it was October that I got pushed to.
Mm.
I think it was pushed to October. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I'm not familiar with it, so you're giving me new information, and I'm writing down my notes.
So FINRA Cat is the contract stuff. I think it was originally so it was supposed to be released on September, but it got pushed down, I think, a little bit further. Well, 3 months later from that is October. So it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very weird. I want to. People are talking about the algorithm, and we're not talking about just one algorithm here. No, there are several algorithms, and somebody else made this point. All the algos follow one algo. I adhere to that theory. I believe that, of course, there's hundreds of algorithms running out there. I pointed them out in a video showing there's one algorithm that deals with volume. There's one algorithm that deals with options. There's one algorithm, but they're all the one algorithm we're talking about is kind of like the referee on the field, and he makes sure that all the other algorithms are playing in accordance to its program. So, yes, there are multiple algorithms, but one main algorithm.
Yep.
Here's a good question. Do you think we're being intentionally held back at arm's length until the Fed coin drops?
Geez, that is a difficult question to answer. I
I
don't
know.
know.
That's why I said, ooh, that's a good question.
I don't. I think like I always talk about the Great Reset basically being the end of it all for this current period of age of the market. I whether if the Fed is intentionally doing it or whether they don't have a darn clue what they're doing. I feel like they probably do have a clue what they're doing, but if they don't, then it's going to be bad for them. If they're not doing this behind the scenes as a planned event to basically commit to the Great Reset, then yeah, it's going to be really bad for them because they're going to be some kind of different entity after this.
Okay, after the Great Reset, or the point in the Great Reset, do you believe that the squeeze is part of the Great Reset?
It has to be because why did they create and execute a new currency system? So the central banking digital currency involves a completely monetary, a different economic system, and it involves around the crypto platform. So it has to be around a completely different monetary global policy rather than the current like stock market or whatever. I think they're
Ed
trying.
seems to be Ed seems to be right on track with you because just as you mentioned the new currency, he commented the same thing.
Yeah, it can't be like the physical Federal Reserve note that we're still transacting like physical cash because
Mhm.
that's not traced. They want to trace everything. Like you guys know about you will own nothing and be happy. They want to track
Right.
every single transaction, and it's actually scary. Like me and Bigums talked about this. Like it, they'll be able to not just monitor but accept or deny whether or not that transaction is acceptable to them. That is the biggest problem. That's like China. That's like communist China happening here. Well, that'll be global because that the central banking digital currency, it will be like the Skynet um, of all transactions. So it'll the CDBC, so the U.S. digital dollar will probably be the main currency of the whole global world, just like how the U.S. dollar is all over the world. It's not going to go anywhere. It'll just be the firmware will be upgraded into the digital space. It will not be like what it is kind of now, like inflated. So when they do the Great Reset, the inflation will completely come off of it, and it'll be a digital spectrum of what it was.
Yeah.
That's how they would probably get rid of it.
We have a whole bunch of new people that came into the stream. If you don't mind, please hit the like button. That helps put the video out there for more people to watch. So hit the like button, people. Let's see. Froggy's still watching. He's watching us from work, I think, or listening to us from work. Either all stocks need to match their asset value like AMC, or AMC needs to be at the market multiple like the rest. Or basically everything comes in alignment with one another is what I think he's trying to say.
I think the stocks, even crypto, the price discovery is completely fake. There is a complete toxicity inside the market that does not represent a value of any asset, even crypto. Regarding it. Everything is a derivative of what the algorithm is doing by the manipulators that are in the market. Like for example, SPY shouldn't be where it's at. AMC is not where it should be. GME, for example, is not where it should be. Even Chipotle, even Netflix, Facebook, all these other stocks, they're not at the right price where they should be, even at the level they should be. Certain tickers that have so many lawsuits on their company that should not even be there. But yeah, their prices are just inflated and propped up by financial institutions, and they need to be there. Just needs to be a wide market correction with what the value is supposed to be worth after the toxicity of the hedge funds and market makers and all of these people that are, they're manipulating it with derivatives. Once this is over and the great reset happens, I think you're going to see a wide market correction to what the obviously when the whole thing comes crashing down or whatever the result will be, you'll see a price discovery come about from the aftermath.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for that moment because nothing is real. We can see everything's just synthetics. Everything's just propped up. It's propped up to prevent margin calls. That's why they initiated the SFT program. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
The SFT program is go ahead. Sorry.
Some people are wanting to know how to follow you, so I posted Edward's Twitter feed. He doesn't do YouTube, right? You just do Twitter.
Yeah, I don't do it.
So
Yeah.
you can follow him on Twitter for his information, and trust me, it is some deep stuff. I pinned it to the comments, so if anybody wants to go follow Edward on Twitter, that's the link to get to his page.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Froggy Styles, you make a good point with Dwalk. It was supposed to run to crazy levels and they got hella shorted. Right when it opened up, it followed the algorithm. It got instantly shorted. Same thing would happen with Dutch Bros. Great coffee company. I go there pretty much like every other day. I love it, but it's been financially it's been shorted. There's a toxic infiltration by financial institutions. It's just disgusting. It should not be where it's at. And then look what happened. You have JP Morgan saying its price target is $40. You have all these other banks just instantly it came out of nowhere, and already the banks and financial institutions are have their tails and have their legs all over it. And the ticker just recently came about. Like it's just disgusting. Every single ticker that comes into the NYSE, the stock market, whatever, they're manipulated. They're propped up or they're propped down depending on what the likes of the financial institutions and their contracts behind the scenes are. It's fraud. There is no price discovery. It's like literally financial institutions versus the retail investors. That's it.
The stock price up buys at 37 372.40 up 654. That's a 1.79% increase. AMC is at 1280 up 27 cents. in the pre-market at 2.15. For those interested, Redbox is down 10 cents to 11.91. That's a 0.83 drop. Just a little quick update for everybody.
Yeah. And SPY looks exactly the same as AMC and vice versa. It's everything. Neo looks the same. Netflix looks the same. Uh, Mullen looks the same. Microsoft, everything is the same.
Yeah. Amazon, I mean, you just name a stock.
So the tickers that don't have pre-market, even Lucid. So how does a tech company follow the same pattern as AMC or vice versa? Even SNDL, even it's nuts, man. This is the toxicity that we're talking about. You should different branches of stocks should not be in baskets manipulated together. It should never be traded the same, but here we are. It is traded the same. It's following the same or inverse of the basket that's been playing out. It's nuts. We want this to end. It has to end.
I want it to end so bad. People's like, YouTubers don't want it to end. Bullshit, this YouTuber does.
Yeah, some of them don't because they're making
Would I,
money off of it.
would I rather have a YouTube channel or about $300,000? You guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Can
Yeah,
AMC hit 16 today, Ed asked.
AMC can hit any price anytime. It just depends on
I mean,
when
y'all
this
saw
thing
the
is over.
rip from, I think it was 14 to 33 and then
Oh
back
yeah.
down. So anything can happen with any of these stocks.
Yep. That's right. It could have those crazy moves, but what's the volume right now? The volume is pretty poop in
For,
pre-market.
let's see, AMC on the day. Oh, I can't do daily. 4 hour volume of 29,000.
Yeah, it's a little bit over. It's a little bit higher than that usually because it's showing repo, so it's probably like 40,000. That's very little.
And I'm looking at the post market from Friday is showing volume at 208,000. That's so much. That's a lot of volume. That's a lot of volume for your post market and pre market until they came out with this new regulation. They're dumping shares at the end of the
Yeah,
market.
yeah. That's what they're doing. Yeah, they changed their little tactic. It happens every single time. Yep.
And it looks like you just said it's connected to the SPY because at every rip AMC sees in that crime candle, you
Hmm.
got the same crime candle over on the SPY.
Exactly. So you'll see that you'll see it again sometime in after hours today as well. Sometime between 5 to 30 minutes, you'll see the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something to do with the SFT program.
It has something to do with what?
The SFT program.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like an overnight thing. When market closes, that's how much they have a specific window that they can disclose their trades.
Stockwiz says he wished he would have cashed out at 70, but AMC had I known what I know now, I would have done it. A lot of people feel that way. But I'm gonna tell you what, when it runs back up to 70, I mean it's up to every individual, but when it runs this time, that means it's the game's on. Sundial is another manipulated stock with the algorithm. So what do you think the potential of Sundial's run? Will it hit $1 soon? Because it has to hit $1 before August.
No, it's not before August. I think it extended.
Oh, it got extended again?
Well, I think it extended for 6 months.
Well, it got extended for 6 months, and the end of that 6 month extension ends in August.
Oh, it does it in? Okay, maybe. I mean, see. I think it's all planned. I don't think it's going anywhere. You've seen You've seen the announcements around like the deals that are happening behind the scenes.
Mhm.
I mean, if who knows? Like the trucking stuff could be going back in business for the deliveries and all that. Um, I I think in my opinion, I think it's all planned to for them to accumulate as much as possible before they do that same ripple run that they did. I mean, you look at Sundial back in January of 2021, right? It did that run. So what's preventing it from doing it again? I think it could very well do something like that again.
Mm. I'm
I mean, it
looking
ran a
for
little
the.
bit later. It just ran
I don't see
later.
any. I don't see any new extensions, so it's still
So
set for August.
it's still set for August then. So you look at Sundial, it ran in June slightly. It hit $1.49.
Hmm.
And then it did the same thing in February 11th, just after AMC.
And for
So
those that don't know, it's not the fact that it just has to hit $1. It has to stay above $1 for 10 consecutive days in order to stay listed.
if the financial institutions are accumulating, it's gonna be above $1 for 10 consecutive days. There's no
Right.
because they've accumulated, they're gonna want to run that company up because they've shorted this company to all hell. I mean, from 11 and it's barcoding at literally pennies. That's just disgusting.
I know. And I mean, I'm in this for the money. I'm not. People is falling in love with the stock. And like Sundial, for example, I had 3,700 shares of Sundial. It had a little run up, so I sold it. People got mad. I'm like, I'm in this for the money, people. Now, my love is for AMC, which I shouldn't even have that love because your emotions should stay detached from the market. But everybody just fell in love with AMC and GME.
Well, they're the true they're the true battle. They're the reason why it's creating a problem for the Wall Street and hedge funds. They're the reason why everything is the way it is and why they're not able to cover and why we continue fighting until they do. We're not leaving. They need to
We're not.
be
I'm
well,
not leaving.
yeah, well, I
It's
think
just
when
frustrating at the time that we're dealing with it. Over and a half now.
well, it proves that people are holding and buying more. If people left, they would have gotten out. That's
Oh
the whole
yeah,
thing. That's the whole thing. That's the whole
yeah.
point.
And like the saying goes, we're not going nowhere. You might as well pull the plug on this, rip the band-aid off or whatever, because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, see, they're trying to call our bluff, and they think that we're not calling their bluff out. They're
Right.
trying to. That's the whole thing. They're trying to do reverse psychology, and it's absolutely failing. We know what they're
It
doing.
yeah. AA said that when the time is right, we're gonna pounce. What do you think he meant by pounce?
He said sometime in August, I think, the next
I
earnings.
don't know. Interesting. That's
Hmm.
interesting because AMC and Sundial are tied together. And if AA thinks or has got a plan that's going to happen in August, that would affect Sundial's price too.
It will ripple everything. Yeah,
It'll ripple right. It'll ripple over into that stock and
I mean,
GME and
it's only a
Sundial
month.
and
It's only like a month
BBIG.
away. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we're
we're
looking
only a
at
month.
about. Look, I like this. Sammy said we're holding a royal flush, and the hedgies know it.
Yeah, yeah. AMC Bigum said that many times. Yeah, a royal flush. It's a
It's hard
really
to
good one.
It's really hard to bluff somebody that's sitting there with a royal flush.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Yeah, unless you make them doubt of what they hold, then yeah, you have to know what you're holding. You have to know your worth. That's you can't let your
AMC
emotions.
up 26 cents.
Look,
Nothing's moving.
yeah, 26 cents. That's nothing.
Yeah, 26 cents. I mean, fuck, that's not even worth getting out of bed to look at. You look at your phone, say 26 cents,
Yeah,
put it back down, and roll over and go back to sleep.
I mean it's cool. It's all right. It's positive. You know,
SHIB is on a run.
is it
SHIB is
really?
at 946,
Oh, 14% up. That's good.
up 14%. That's pretty damn good. It's broke out of my wedge that I have drawn. So we've broken out of the descending wedge. And I mean, how long will this run last? How
You're
high
gonna
will it go?
You see how Dogecoin is doing the same thing?
Let me see, Doge.
Mm-hmm. It's popping off as well.
Yep, up 8%.
Yep. So you're gonna see these ripple effects happening, and look at what's going on. They look sort of like nothing like Bitcoin right now. Like very different. Like
Bitcoin
some
broke out of my descending wedge also. Let me see, I'll share my screen so everybody can see what I'm looking at.
I mean, it could be that 17 was the bottom. You don't know. That's the thing. You never know.
You never know. It's
You
all
know.
a guessing game. We can see, if y'all can see this chart, it's traveled down, and you're coming towards the end of the move. It's
Mm-hmm.
broken out of the wedge and it's starting. Now that doesn't mean it's going to recover or not fall back down, but I see strength there, so that's good.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
constantly
SHIB,
has been creating higher lows.
look at that boom boom candles for nice.
Yep.
It had a pull back, and now it's on another rip. It should more, and hopefully it'll rip again. Positioning SHIB today. Damn, I wanted to get one when it was 7, and I didn't do it because I was worried about them crypto to liquidate and pay off some of this exchange shit. Still, I thought they had a plan for Terra Luna.
Isn't it funny though? Like everything just randomly starts running.
Yeah,
These are all financial institutions. This is not real people.
none of it's real.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
usually
all.
I think it's most of it automated. Yeah, it's usually automated by bots or whatever they're
It's
using by
stupid.
trading bots. I think it could be today. Could be today could be a weird day because tomorrow Fed Powell speaks.
When
It could be a very weird day tomorrow. He speaks. He has a meeting with the some with the finance. I don't know what it's called. Budget spending or
AMC,
something.
yeah,
I don't know.
AMC's been in an uptrend since 616 and inside this channel. So that's
See, this is why I'm never excited until I see these red candles go away on AMC. Look at it right now in pre-market, and you're seeing this manipulation again. on the 1 minute candle.
On the 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna fall back down to that 1236, 1237, 1238.
Let's see.
They pumped
It's
it up.
funny you say that.
And the SPY is
It's
going to
funny
do
you
the
say
same
that.
thing.
But I showed if it bounces out of this channel, it can go as low as 1234, which is exactly what you just said.
Yeah. So it's that pump and dump that they did to SPY. That keeps repeating constantly all over the market. And SPY, like I said, like why the hell is it following the SPY when it's not even the 500 S&P stocks?
Right. In case
It should not
people
be
don't
there.
know, we've also moved from the Russell 2000 to the Russell 1000.
That should be coming up, right? Or is it already confirmed?
Yeah. I see
Yeah.
Chance made it. Okay, everybody, that's been 2 hours. Edward, you got anything that you'd like to say in closing? Some kind of encouragement or something for everybody that's watching?
Yeah, I'm continuing to do the DD. We got communities in touch with on Reddit, Superstock and AMC stock, so that's good. We're pushing it so multiple eyes can see it. And obviously, the more we talk, the louder we speak, the more we can push towards making change in the market, because there has to be physical action taken to change this entire corruption that's going on. We can't give up. So I'm not giving up. I'm continuing to do it. I appreciate, obviously, Common Sense Investor and everybody that's able to host, to talk about these things every single day or every other day, whenever possible. People that are making change, that are bringing the light and providing platforms to speak on these kind of things. Um, I haven't had the time to like do my own YouTube or whatever. So everybody has their
Yeah.
own and talent. Everybody has their own purpose. But don't give into your emotions, and remember, know what you hold, and
Don't give in to
yeah, know what you hold, know your value, and remember that these hedge funds, these manipulators, and all these people that are corrupt, they wouldn't burn down a building for AMC to be valued at 100 and 200 or whatever share. They burned a documentation that's holding their entire process of transactions and order books. Know what you hold, because it's valuable and it's causing the market basically distress because they're not covering. So remember that we're in this battle
Chance is
together.
saying to join the Discord. I've linked
Oh, I
it
got it.
I've pinned it in the top chat. Let me scoot over here real quick. Let me share my screen. Oh, I want to show y'all something that's pretty cool too. I'm new to Discord. I'm not an old man, but I'm an old school person, and we grew up using webinars on air and stuff like that. It's all new to. I'm learning it. Discord, it's absolutely, there's no charge. And if you can see my screen here, I've got market chat, which is where everybody communicates with one another. I've added Edward's channel right here, and if you click on it, I've listed the super stock post done, so you can click on that and read this DD on that. Also, Edward, that's your channel right there. Post any kind of
Gotcha.
uh, update that you have that you would like everybody to see. Right now, we're at 93, 104. We have 104 people in the Discord. So, and it's growing every day. Also, we have what's called the voice channels. I used this the other day on the lounge. You can have a voice, just like a telephone call, and we had like 5 people on it. We all just talked and shared our feelings and encouraged one another. So you can join the Discord. You can DD. I also have my videos and emotions. I'm gonna ads so everybody can look at any videos from the past that went. Edwards DD is going to be in his channel, and you can add favorite picks. This one's starting to become pretty famous because it's a favorite AMC picks. We got the monkey right there, the astronaut monkey, the pissed off monkey, and just a couple pictures that to help you laugh and get through the day without having to stress about what the stock is going to do. So can't tell y'all what to do, but hey, holding, I believe in this stock, I believe in this play, and I'm holding to the very end. So with that, we'll sign out. You can go over, sign up to Discord where anytime somebody wants to just start a voice channel with each other, phone call. If you want to call Edward, you click on that. You click on Edward, and if he sees chat and talk to y'all, it's pretty and fun. I also see that NetDev is one of my moderators and admins, and he's created a bot. So that's pretty cool. I like that too. So with that, if anything else, y'all have a good morning, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yep. Thanks for having me, man. Hope everybody